Welcome to the Louisville Business Review, where we spotlight the best local businesses. Today we have with us the one and only Darien Dickerson-Green, the owner of Special Moments Wedding and Event Planning. Darien is a talented event planner, event and floral designer, and industry educator. Darien and his work have been featured on TLC and in many publications. We are honored to have him as today's guest. Welcome, Darien. Darien is our very special guest today. He is with a company called Special Moments Wedding and Event Planning. Our readers would like to know more about your business, Darien, and how you got to where you are now.
Good morning. Thank you so much. So literally, the name of our company is Special Moments Wedding and Event Planning. And so that's what we do. We plan all of those special moments in your life, whether they are weddings, whether they're bridal showers, galas, any type of special event. We are here to assist you. We actually started in 2016. So we have had a very short run, but we've accomplished so much in that short time. And we're just super excited about the future of Special Moments.
Beautiful. And Darien, what geographic areas do you serve?
So currently we serve the Kentucky area, of course, Tennessee, Ohio, and just recently we have decided to expand to Georgia.
Very cool. And how many employees do you have?
We currently have 7 employees who work for the business, whether they are designing or coordinating. There's currently 7 employees.
All right. And are you looking to expand?
Of course, expansion is always in the future.
So how many employees would you ideally have? How do you see what vision do you have for your company?
So I actually see Special Moments still being very exclusive to a luxury upscale market, but I do see us expanding to service the globe, being able to do international events, being able to do the larger, huge events that take place, kind of like a Preston Bailey, if you will. I absolutely love Preston Bailey. He is one of the most inspirational Black designers in this industry who I look up to. And he has done everything from Grammys to Oscars to you name it. The man has done it.
Beautiful. And what do you feel sets you apart from your competition? Why should they choose you over other event planning companies?
Honestly, because I don't believe I have competition. I truly believe in staying in your own lane, and there's less traffic there. So I do what I do best, and I stick to who I am. I'm authentic, and that comes through in my designs, that comes through in my communications, in my relationships with my clients, and also my colleagues. I've taken the approach of building community versus competition. And so I have been looked at amongst my peers as a leader in the industry in our area. And so I'm so grateful for all of the support that they give me.
That's beautiful. And do you own 100% of the business, or do you have partners in it?
So actually I own 100% of the business. Last year, I actually made my husband a part of my company officially. And so now we are, I guess, couple based, couple ran.
And what was it that made you want to start this business?
So I was always interested in weddings. When I was a kid, actually, I don't know if anybody remembers VHSs, but I used to take a VHS, no matter what it had on it, and I would record over it a wedding show that would come on TLC. And so that's literally how it piqued my interest. Events piqued my interest. And then when I was in the neighborhood, I would have the girls in the neighborhood put on their best dresses and we would pretend to have weddings. And I mean, it was crazy because some of those very girls have become my clients. And we've actually been on TLC. So to go from looking at TLC and being inspired by those weddings to actually having a wedding featured on TLC has been an amazing full circle, actually.
That is awesome. So tell us a little bit more about your being featured on TLC. What was that experience like? What led to it? And what did you learn from it?
So I actually got a call from a bride in Louisville. She is the owner of All Is Fair in Love in Fashion. You probably have heard of her. Her name is Rayshonda. She is an amazing person. She actually has a storefront in St. Matthew's Mall. And so her and her wife were being featured on Say Yes to the Dress. So they were going to document her wedding and her picking out her dress because she was wearing one of the designer dresses from their store. She went to New York and did all of that stuff. And so she reached out to me and she's like, she wanted to use a lot of Black-owned businesses and, of course, a lot of queer-based businesses. And so it just kind of worked out. We met, we clicked. It was a great experience working with her. And I will say production is crazy when you're dealing with something like that.
Wow. Very cool. What a neat experience. And, have you always had this spirit of entrepreneurship?
Yes, actually. When I was an undergrad at Western Kentucky University, there was a moment in time, a trend, if you will, where there were specialty cases being made, like phone cases, and these specialty hats that had like all this stuff on it. And basically what it was if you say, for example, you are a lover of fashion and you love Chanel and you love Coach and you love, Michael Kors, all that stuff, you could actually create a phone case that had all of those, little trinkets and brooches and things like that on them. And so I actually started a business making those on campus for the students. And even like for some of the people of the Greek organizations, I would order in custom pieces and make them phone cases or hats. And that kind of lasted for a little while. And then I did an online boutique where I put those items on that website. And that kind of lasted for about 2 years for me. It wasn't my passion, so I didn't stay in it long, but it was fun to do and it was creative. And then, boom, here came Special Moments, and it just kind of went from there.
And what would you say your clients love most about working with you?
I think I'm a lot of fun. I think that with me, my clients know that I'm very transparent. I'm very honest. I'm very upfront. And so they know that they're going to get that. And I'm authentic. So if in the moment, if I'm like, I don't know, don't like it, that's what I'm going to say. And I'm not going to hold that back. And they love that. And I think that my personality has allowed so many doors to be open for me in this industry, just because I'm who I am unapologetically.
Very cool. And Darien, what has been the toughest thing you went through when you were starting out? What were your early days like?
Oh gosh, the toughest thing I went through, I guess I would have to say, not truly knowing anything. You go to college and you study certain things in your area. I didn't have that experience. I just kind of jumped out there and started doing it. And so all of the money and time that was wasted at Western could have been put into building my knowledge of this industry, but I wouldn't take back that experience for anything, because now I'm so grateful for where I am. My husband and I like to sometimes look at the pictures of my very first event, and look at where we are now.
Very cool. So, the question begs, did you plan out your own wedding or did you hire somebody for it?
I planned my own wedding. I did hire an event manager, or a day of coordinator, as most people call them, out of Lexington, who is now based in Louisville. Her name is Courtney Murrah. We did hire her to come in and just be sure everything was executed well. But I called on my event friends. I called on Mr. and Mrs. Events. I called on the Black Italian. I called on Sweet Treats by Jennifer. And I had all of my event friends help me make my day happen. And so I probably will say I had the quickest wedding. I got married in 4 months after proposal. The probably lowest budget wedding I've ever had, and the most beautiful because I used my people.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you know, if you had to start this business over again from day one, what would you do differently?
Nothing. Nothing. Every experience, every failure, every mistake, every upset, unpleased client, all of those things have helped to shape me to who I am now and where I'm going. And so I can't say that I would take anything from this journey back. It's been an amazing journey. I'm grateful for the highs and I'm grateful for the lows. So nothing.
Cool. And what have been some of your biggest challenges along your journey? What lessons have you learned from them?
Okay. That's a real one. So I think the biggest challenge has been overcoming a unsatisfied client. Because our goal is to be sure that every person has an amazing experience with us. And so anytime that a client is not happy, that is disappointing. And so sometimes understanding that I have to give myself a little grace. There are just some people who you can't please. There are just some situations that you can't fix, and letting go. And that's the hard part for me because I will continue to email, I will continue to call because I just want to be sure that they don't leave with an awful experience. But sometimes you just have to let things go.
Mm. And what has been the toughest part about having a business during COVID-19 and moving forward?
The uncertainty. So in my industry, we had a whole lot of times where the mandates were changing. And so venues were being allowed a certain amount of people could not gather, those type of things, right? So that was kind of tough in the beginning of COVID-19. But honestly, now, I don't think there's any challenges because I learned to adapt. I learned to adjust to where we were. I invented this package called micro weddings. And basically that's because you never know how many people you can actually have. And so this package services 50 guests or less. So they still get the entire experience that they would get if they had their big wedding, but it just makes it smaller.
That's really cool. And have you seen a rise in popularity of that package?
Yes, a lot of couples are moving towards smaller, intimate weddings. Not just because of the rise of COVID-19, but the reality of it is weddings are expensive to have. And if you want to have an experience that your guests will remember and that you will remember, it's going to cost you probably more than you're willing to spend. And so in order to keep that budget low, right, or comfortable for you, having less guests accomplishes that. That's less food, less seating, less specialty items that are ordered, all that great stuff. So yeah, most people are loving it.
And if someone's on the fence about hiring your firm versus just doing it all by themselves, what advice would you give them?
I will highly recommend that they look into a planner. And it doesn't have to be special moments, but look into someone who can help take that stress away from you. There are things that we know that you will never think of. There are experiences that we've had that you couldn't even imagine. And so our job is to keep you from having to experience all of that stress that comes along with planning this day. You should just be able to enjoy it. It's a wonderful day and it goes by so fast. Anyone who's ever been married, they know it happens so quickly. The next thing you know, it's at night and everyone's going home wishing you congratulations, right? So you definitely want to take the moment to just enjoy being a bride, being a groom, whatever preferred title you may have. You want to take the time to enjoy that.
Very cool. And if a young entrepreneur was just starting out and wanting to open a business and maybe they watch this video and they see you and they're like, hey, you know, I want to try this out. What advice would you give him or her?
Take the time to learn and educate yourself on the market that you're wanting to go in, whether it be designing, whether it be fashion, whatever you want to do, learn and educate yourself on all of those things that come with that particular lane. Know that you're unique Trust that you're unique, trust your instincts, trust the talent that you've been given. And if the vision has been given to you, it's your vision. You don't need permission from anybody else to execute it.
Beautiful. And what is the number one way you are currently bringing in new customers?
Social media. Believe it or not, my social media business page gets literally little to no attention. But my personal page, it's crazy. People love me. And so I've found a way to invite people into my world, into my life, by still keeping it very private and still personal. But I think a lot of people feel like they know me, even though they may have never met me. My husband and I may be out at an event or at a concert. Someone will come up to us and they'll hug us. Our wedding was featured in Black Gay Weddings. And so a lot of people, even this weekend while we were here in Atlanta, a couple people came up to us. We went to a bar with friends and they were like, "We know you guys." And we're like, "Oh, hey." So I think using that platform has been very, very helpful for me. And so I use it and I invite people to be a part of this journey that I'm on, because I'm on a journey. And I want them to see the highs, the lows. I want them to see where I started so that when I get where I'm going, they can appreciate it just as much as I do.
Excellent. Who's your ideal customer? Who's your perfect customer? Describe that person to us.
My perfect customer would be a person who can appreciate luxury, a person who can appreciate experience. I'm not really necessarily going to say a certain tax bracket or anything of that nature, because I believe that anything that we really want, we can make happen. We can save. We can literally do anything we want to do if we really desire to do it. So I don't want to say a person who makes this amount of money, because that's not the ideal client. And I'm definitely not going to say a celebrity client, because that's not the ideal client. The ideal client is just someone who can appreciate what I do and how I do it and can trust me to do it well.
Great. And what is the one thing you'd like to accomplish in your business overall that would have you saying it emphatically, "Yes, I did it. I actually did it"? What would be that one thing?
So it's crazy because it's so small. It's really small. I told my husband this the other night. When I first started, I said that I wanted to get one of the major derby events in Louisville. Louisville's home. And so to just be a Black entrepreneur with a small business who gets to have a client of that caliber, especially for the Kentucky Derby, has always been something that I've wanted to do and accomplish. And I think once I've accomplished that, it'll give me the confidence to do and go anywhere and do anything else. You probably would have thought Say Yes to the Dress would have done that. But no, I was still very, very timid and very scared, even after Say Yes to the Dress.
Very cool. Now, if our viewers who've watched this till the end, is there any specials or any promotions that you can offer? I noticed on your website, you have some discounts for certain people. Could you forward that to our viewers?
Yes, definitely. So any person who mentions that they saw this and that this kind of compelled them to say, "Hey, I want to reach out to this guy," we are willing to offer you a 10% discount on whatever services that you decide to book with us for. All you have to do is just mention that you actually saw this interview.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Darien. Is there any last words you'd like to add before we wrap up?
I just really want to say that I appreciate this platform. I appreciate this opportunity. And I do encourage any business owners, any entrepreneurs who have not sought out any type of opportunities to be interviewed and to share your business, your brand. Please look into the Louisville Business Network. This could be possible for you.
Wonderful. Well, we're really grateful to have you here on Louisville Business Review. Could you mention your website once again?
Our website is www.planspecialmoments.com. And you can find us on social media platforms under Plan Special Moments or Special Moments Wedding and Event Planning.
Darien, thank you so much. This has been a real pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.
Are you struggling to figure out the best ways to promote your business? Forget about the failed attempts and get your business featured at Louisville Business Review to experience the real-time conversion and aspire to new heights of success with greater exposure and ROI. Visit www.louisvillebusinessreview.com to get featured now.